All right, what's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. We'll get started here in just a couple minutes. Jump in the comments. Let me know. You can hear me. Audio is good. Welcome back, my credit hustlers. I see you. I salute you. We are doing it, my friends. We are doing it. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. Walletmonkey.io. Let's give it some time. I was going to go live in like 30 minutes, and then I was just like, you know what? Everything like opened up so I could do now. So I figured we'll just jump in now. And I know I give like really, really short notice on these streams. I apologize. Oh, I don't need these right now. I apologize. I'll get better with that. It's just my schedule. My schedule is kind of like up and down, right? So sometimes it's just like, okay, let's go now. I got like 15, 20 minutes, so let's do it. I don't know how long this one will last. There's a couple things I want to talk about, but yeah, these will definitely become more regular, and I'd love to feature more people from the community. I know it's kind of weird. Some people get nervous about coming on stream and talking in front of people. I get all that. I had my fears too for the longest time, but you'll get over it, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and what's more important is sharing your story. Okay, so what's up, my friends? Welcome to the stream. Wallet Monkey community is hopefully at some point going to take over. We're staying small and condensed right now, which I like, and there's a ton of people that are giving and providing in the community. We have a free Discord that I think there's like 300 people in right now, and it's absolutely incredible. There is all kinds of gems and you know, I guess lesser known things shared on a regular basis, as well as one of the most important things is personalized data points from people who are going through it right now, right? So I think that's really important. So let's kind of start at the beginning. If you're brand new to this channel, or if you're brand new to this community, we have two components. The first is this channel, this YouTube channel, so live streams and recorded video. Our intention with the videos is to try and cover a topic the least amount of times as possible, which is counterintuitive to YouTube algorithms. It's counterintuitive to people's attention spans, because it's much easier to like shoot a video every single day talking about like little tiny incremental pieces so that you get a video every day. So it's like so many people on this platform feed the algorithms so that they get views, which I understand. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just shoot the least amount of videos to cover the most amount of topics, if that makes sense. So we take a wildly different approach to the YouTube channel. We're going to continue to do that. The website was actually made first, and the website is completely free as well. No games, no gimmicks, no pop-ups, bullshit, you know, whatever. It's just is great of content as we can possibly provide and condense. Again, we're about consolidating information, and you know, the personal finance space is another area where, unfortunately, there's a lot of really bad information. It's still like heavily gate kept, meaning that it's behind like paid walls, and you got to buy my $99 program, and you got to do this and you got to do that to get the information. It's just I guess that'd be it. So it's like bad information, correct information, or correct information but gate kept, right? And so the whole intention with this website was really to piss those people off by giving away as much as we possibly could for free, but also to consolidate and give you guys a place where there's a ton of stuff all in one place instead of having to bookmark 15, 20 different websites. So our focus is kind of shifted away from this. We're going to get back to this this year for sure and update this. So all right, I want to tell and share a personal story really quick. It's kind of funny how it happened. And this is, we actually uploaded this video on the channel. So anyways, walletmonkey.io, you can check that out. Free Discord, you can check that out. But let's go ahead and get started. So I shot this video, haven't uploaded it yet, this concept of compounding credit. I want to talk about this today. I want to talk about the art of the side hustle, which I don't know if I'll upload this video now that we're going to kind of talk about it here. But let me share a personal story first. So we uploaded that video, the 4-step personal loan hustle. And all it really was is that on accident, I accepted a American Express loan, and the APR was pretty high. It was like 21%, and it was a small loan in my eyes. And so I kind of was just doing it to go through the steps and didn't realize that I was on the last step because I was already pre-approved and got accepted. So I was kind of like, and I did it to get data points for the community, and I was kind of like, okay, crap, what do I do now? So what I did was just washed it through a pledge loan, and then pulled all that out, and then used it to pay off some high interest credit cards, some Capital One stuff that I still have, And then, yeah, that was it. So it's like the normal thing that you see people do is they go out and get a personal loan, and then they use it to do, debt consolidation or pay down their credit cards, some sort of like balance transfer, which can save you like 1% to 2%. I don't know if a lot of places do that, but I know Goldman Sachs does that with their personal loans. But anyways, my point was that like that's just a simple process that you could use to make to get more mileage out of a personal loan, because it's going to hit your credit. You're going to get the 20 to 40 point ding, but might as well wash it through a pledge loan, bump up my internal credit score with Navy Fed, and then do what I was going to do with it, right? So that's kind of how I stumbled across that whole thing. But it's a simple strategy, right? And it works. So the next side of that is you have to start to think about like, what am I going to do with this? Because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of outside metrics that are working against us, right? Like we've got, if you work off of CPI, it's 8.5% CPI right now, but that's way wrong. And something you got to understand about the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the BLS, is that they're constantly changing the formula. So you cannot go back and historically see data the way that you should be able to. If I'm always changing the formula for how the data is gathered, I never can go back and reference against that. And I think that's partially done on purpose, just to like hide the fact that inflation does get really, really bad at times. But we've got like two really bad points. We've got the 70s and the 80s. There was two like really historic points where we had high inflation. And if you go off of like older models that haven't been adjusted or changed, we are just about at those same points in time. So somewhere between like 16 and 20% inflation. It just depends on what bucket and how you're weighting that. So for example, the biggest issue with CPI is that for housing, it's like 24.24% for housing rent and housing costs. But the issue is that they're not actually using a true metric for what rent costs are across America. So it just makes it look better, I guess. So anyway, we've got inflation, then we've got the interest rate on the cards, we've got taxes and everything else, but it's like, the inflation, again, that 8.5% means nothing. It's really about like, what does your grocery bill cost? And most people can tell you that housing, their rent has gone up 15 to 25% over the last year. They can tell you that when they go to the store and maybe $100 used to get them their groceries, well, now it's 150 to 200. So that's what we're working up against, is we've got all these taxes essentially creeping up on us. So how do we maximize our money is then the next logical question, right? And especially if you're taking out a personal loan, the worst thing you could do, especially with FICO 10 and 10T, is to go out and spend that money to pay down debt and then to run those credit cards back up again. And so if you do it now, it's no different than if you do it later, because I understand that as soon as 10T and 10 are rolled out, they're going to be able to look back on 24 months. So if you did it at any point over the 24 months that they're going to be able to see, that's going to have a negative effect on your score, and that's going to impact your ability to be able to get new credit. So the credit game is one of the few tools left that exist to try and get us ahead, right? And so let's talk about side hustles. And I want to kind of share my journey and some of the crazy, wacky stuff that I've done over the years, if you guys don't mind. Okay. So we're going to start with, I'll make this bigger. All right. I don't even know if that's a word, middleman. I was a software middleman. That was like the first thing I did. Okay, so the first thing I did as like a side hustle is basically what I found was people in the US were looking to outsource. This was a long time ago, but it was kind of right when outsourcing software and stuff was starting to get big, and the area to still do it was Asia. Whereas now it's kind of changed. It went from like Asia to Africa, back to Europe, and now it's kind of finding its way back to the United States and Mexico, right? So back then, there was a ton of like US firms looking for software development. And so what I did was I just went and kind of put myself in between the two. So I would go on, like at the time there was Freelancer, Elance, and other sites like that. And I would try and grab up these contracts and then go and hire a development team to fulfill the project, which, understand that at the surface level, this is insanely risky to somebody just getting started in side hustles. There's like way easier stuff like selling retro video games, buying and selling retro video games is way easier than that. But I enjoyed this. So that's kind of why I got into it. So I had to go out and learn quite a bit. I went out and learned development, coding languages and stuff like that at a basic level, just so that I wouldn't be taken advantage of. And I already understood like basic project management and project flow. So that was an easy one for me to get into. But believe it or not, that was like the first internet hustle that I did. And then after that, it morphed to work. I basically did marketing for small business. So what is that? SBM, small business marketing. So then that naturally pivoted into small business marketing. I already knew how to develop software. So we were developing custom software as well as, just using third-party tools and stuff that existed to set up marketing campaigns for small businesses. I mean, this is like, we're going back quite a bit in time. So this is like basic stuff like setting up email lists and autoresponders and follow-up series and, tapping into, doing like more guerrilla marketing stuff, like tapping into existing clients and asking them for their friends to come in. So getting referrals from existing market as well as getting new people, right? So then I got into like quite a bit of design and development from there. We started selling software after that. So I'm not going to give you like the full, huge story about it. We started selling software, which now we call SaaS, software as a service, right? That all shows good, yeah. Okay, let me move this. We started selling software as a service, SaaS. What else did we get into? Selling info products. Which that kind of morphed into, there's like iterations of it. So that those three all kind of just like pinged around and then eventually found my way into crypto. I guess you could call me crypto retail. Right? So my point, and I've done all kinds of other stuff. I've done woodworking. I've done epoxy stuff, metalwork, collision work. I mean, I've done just about every single side hustle. Yes, this will be saved and you can come back to this. I've done just about every single side hustle you can imagine, right? And I know it's really, really popular right now. The issue with the side hustle stuff is that by the time you're hearing about it, it's usually pretty watered down, meaning that it's kind of worn out and maybe it doesn't work the same. There's a few caveats to that, like Turo and Uber hustles and stuff like that. Like surprisingly, there's been there's hundreds of thousands of people who talk about these hustles, and yet they still work. So that's very, very impressive. But understand that some of this stuff, it doesn't really work, and the more people that get into it, and also too, you got to just be mindful of like what rabbit hole you're diving into, because I know that there's Facebook marketing, there's arbitrage, there's reselling on eBay, there's reselling on Amazon, there's all kinds of stuff like that, right? Doing paid advertising, running advertising campaigns for people, right? All that exists. Just be careful with those rabbit holes because, those things run deep. And the issue with a lot of info marketing and people that are teaching you like how to be a marketer or teaching you how to do these different things, a lot of that is like really bad, kind of scummy and scammy, right? With the strategy that they use to get you in, and then the courses itself. And they're very expensive courses, like thousands of dollars in courses. And it's like, you got to ask yourself, like, is this actually worth it? So anyways, that's my caveat there. But basically anything that you love to do, think of it like this. This is the easiest way I can describe it. Anything you love to do, you could turn into a side hustle. And I think what's most important and what we've all kind of taken away from the last 2 years is that before that, it was, how do I get multiple jobs? And the side hustle wasn't really talked about as much and it wasn't as prevalent. But what's interesting now is that with so many people working from home, is I can kind of rearrange my time and my schedule to really fit to make that work. Like I'm sure you guys have seen, Reddit posts and viral posts all over the internet with guys that are working like, 2, 3, 4, 5 development jobs. They're like senior developers at these big Fortune 500 companies, and they're making like over $1 million a year, and they're working like 20 hours a week. It's like absolutely wild. Some of the stories that I'm reading, guys just keep going on interviews and keep getting hired. But then because the flow of information and the flow of work is still quite bad because not a lot of staff and not a lot of the workforce is in offices. It's still a lot of it's virtual. And because of that, it's allowed people to like, that's another, I guess you could say, hustle. I would just argue that I think in the long run, what you're going to see is that if we continue to do this as a economy, then the U.S. is going to be in really, really bad shape, because it's like, okay, cool, I get it. Congratulations for, hustling these guys and working like 4 or 5 jobs and not really doing much work. But it's like, what is the longevity of that company? Then I have to question, right? That's the other side of the coin, is like, that means that they're not going to last long, because they're paying out all this money for developers and nothing's really getting done. So now, caveat to that is, if all kinds of development work's happening and deadlines are getting hit, great. But it sounds like a lot of corporations are all spun up in like woke culture, and all spun up in like, we can't do this, and we have to be like really sensitive and delicate about these different topics now, that I think in the long run, it's gonna they're gonna suffer, both from a workforce standpoint and then production standpoint. Production leads to money, so it's like, we could get into valuations and how that kind of plays into this and how scary of a picture it really is, but why bother? So anyways, we've got a lot of inflation and outside tax that is constantly on us. And I don't think people realize just how much that equates to, over a 20-year span, over a lifetime. This actually works out to be hundreds of percent. Like, you are negative money over your lifespan from just inflation, inflation alone, right? So especially at these higher rates, let me just caveat, not at 2% inflation, which is the Fed's target, but at like 5 to 8%, you're on 8%, you're negative percentile over a 20-year period. Okay. There's compound calculators and stuff that you can look at and do the math yourself. But yeah, it's definitely very concerning, right? And we're talking about personal finance, and that's really what this channel is geared towards. So these are things you need to know. So the cool thing is like I said, right now there's a lot of people working from home. So just about anything you can come up with, you can get a hustle going on. What I would suggest is that you focus on something that you actually like to do. Whereas a lot of people, I think, focus on things like, oh, no, I heard this will make thousands. No, I heard this will make tens of thousands. No, this will make me rich. It's still kind of like that get rich quick culture baked into a lot of this stuff, which is a recipe for disaster. I can tell you right now, every single effort that you will go out and do to try and get rich quick, it'll just disappoint you. You won't get rich. You'll probably lose money, and it'll suck the whole time. So instead, focus on stuff that you like. Like, if you already like working with wood and doing certain things, cool. Start diving into YouTube University. Bang, there you go. If you already like working with, epoxy or different resins and things like that, cool. Figure out a unique angle, a unique selling proposition, USP. Go out there, start a YouTube, start an Etsy, start something, and you can do it. I mean, all this stuff requires very, very little. Like, I can start selling on Etsy today. I can start reselling on eBay today. All that stuff I can start doing today, which, retro video games and like toys and stuff is like really such a crazy niche. I've been following it for about a year now. It's just actually mind blowing, because growing up you had like G.I. Joes and shit. Now that stuff is selling for like hundreds of dollars, used plastic, missing parts. It's just like, wow. I just remember playing with some of that stuff as a kid, and it's just like, we treated it like shit and like broke it and lost it and didn't care about it, and now that stuff, it's worth quite a bit, some of it. But yeah, so I would just say, again, focus on something that you actually enjoy. And the reason why is because there's like dark realities of starting any business, of starting any hustle. It's like when you're out of the group and all the hype is gone, it's just you listing, tens or hundreds of items on eBay at night, chilling by yourself, just typing away at the computer. It's just you, right? No, I don't know what the credit game fraud is. So yeah, define that for me, please. So it's just you by yourself on the computer. So it has to be something that you like, or I would argue love, because there's just gonna be so many tough moments, so many tough decisions as you go along that if you don't love it, you won't do what needs to be done. And then it'll just fail anyway. So it's like, well, I deserve to do something that is going to, have the best chance of success. So we might as well just stick with stuff that I like, right? Yeah. Any questions from you guys? In the chat, thanks for jumping on with me. Let me just check really quick in a disco. Did anyone say they wanted to jump on? No. Okay. Yeah, but if any of you OGs from the Discord want to jump in and actually chat with me, come on the stream, more than welcome. I'll give you the link. It's just StreamYard. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Side hustles are the new era, man. And I think it's only going to like grow and increase. And because what people are starting to figure out now is like, to run a side hustle, you can do it out of your house, but then they're figuring out like other streamlined ways of doing it, right? Of like getting storage units and keeping stuff there, getting really, really small spaces, and how to like operate dynamically out of these spaces, operating many different side hustles out of these spaces. Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool to see. Really, really cool to see. Any questions from you guys? Otherwise, maybe we'll just wrap it up. I want to do longer streams and maybe bring some of you guys on, talk about your guys' journeys, your guys' stories, stuff like that. But yeah, I figured we'd pop on today, and this is kind of what's on my mind. Any questions that you guys have? Anything credit related? We'll jump into that, or we'll wrap it up there. Give it a sec for you guys. I think there's a lag actually. So let's see. Was this good? Was this helpful? You guys enjoy this? 10-year-old BK on Experian. It's getting ready to drop off, ain't it? I don't know. I don't know how it is. Like I can't speak to trying to get rid of BKs right now, because when I did it, I had one. What was mine? Chapter 11? Whatever, where you dismiss all debt. I think it's chapter 11. And it was on there. I mean, this was a long time ago. So when was I fighting this? Like 2017, 18, 19 is when I was getting rid of mine. A lot's changed since then. I'm also seeing like a lot more banks after like 12 months of it being dismissed, they don't really care as much. Now your score is not going to look good, but they don't care as much. And I'm seeing people get like brand new credit. So, all right, two ways to handle this. And it's also going to depend on how much funds that you've got. So I can either take funds and try and hire a credit repair company and dispute, right? Or I can take funds and I can start funding savings accounts, high yield savings accounts, getting into ecosystems with checking accounts, paying for memberships, et cetera, et cetera. And that does essentially the same thing, because most of these credit unions, not all, and a lot of these banks will look past that once you start to have transactional history in that ecosystem. So the mantra and the thing that we really talked about the most throughout 2021 was ecosystem, 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 because people really need to understand that's more important. So they need to have transactional history with you. We've seen now several situations and people in the Discord and in the community with Navy Fed and with a big player like Amex, where they looked by a bankruptcy, especially when it's that old already, like it's getting ready to drop off. So yeah, I would just say it's really where you want to put your focus. The issue is that I can put all this focus onto the credit repair side and still might be there. Like to get the BK removed, that was one of the hardest things off of the record when I was cleaning mine. I had some lates. I had inquiries that I got removed. Inquiry removal was the easiest, right? And nowadays you can do that yourself, especially with Experian. You can just call them up and tell them that you want it removed. And it's pretty much that simple. TransUnion, Equifax, much harder. But anyways, and they kind of go through waves and cycles as well. So it's like they go through periods of time where it's like really easy to get stuff removed. So everybody needs to jump on it. And then they kind of tighten up or change the rule and things reset, right? But I would just argue that BK is one of the hardest things to remove. Everybody's got the magic letters. Everybody's got the magic sauce, right? If you just pay them, whatever, $300, $1,000, right? I don't know, like why not just put that into a savings account, start building transactional history into an ecosystem that I actually want to do business with, start to do business there. And, in 6 months, I'm ready to go. Like the pump is primed and I'm ready to now start to get offers. And it could be as simple as like, you don't even reach out. So you don't risk the inquiry. You just wait for them to start giving you offers. Every bank will start to give you offers as long as you're like opted in for it. Right. So I don't know. I'd argue that you just have to weigh this out for yourself, and it's so close to that thing dropping off anyways. I would be putting my time and focus personally into building relationships and ecosystems that I actually care about. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about credit limit increases. That is another thing that goes through waves. Like on the website for the longest time, we had that Navy Fed, for example, was only doing 4K credit limits across the boards with credit limit increases because of COVID. Well, then that kind of ended, and there was like, I don't know, maybe a 90-day period where there was like 6K, 8K credit limit increases that were just getting done like this. And everyone was reporting that. And so I don't know where it's at now. I mean, I would assume it's probably somewhere still in between that 4K and 8K credit limit increase level, but there will always be fluctuations like that. Maybe there's a ton of people coming into the ecosystem, a ton of people coming into the bank. So they've got their own kind of quotas and they've got their own amount of money that they can play with every single month. So on a month when it's slow, you'll probably get more. On a month when it's busy, you'll get less. And it's almost impossible to tell that. But these banks do have limitations that they can operate within as well. So they've got only a certain amount that they can do each month. So yeah, Eugene, a lot of banks are tightening. Yeah. Okay, yes, September. Okay, cool. So it's going to drop off in September. So yeah, LV Handy Repair LLC. Nice plug. I like that. We'll pop you up here real quick. Jump in there and start building relationships now. Okay, there you go. I've reached 61 days. Yes, with Amex. What is it, 61.6 with Amex? Otherwise, check the site. Some of the stuff I actually am starting to forget because I've released it from my brain because we have such deep, detailed guides on the website. But with Amex, it should be 61.6. So yeah, which doesn't mean the 61st day. Just give it a day or two extra. And you'll be in good shape. But yeah, told that you weren't eligible for an increase. So just to touch on this, I don't know if this is the reason why, but you will get a max allocation based on metrics of your credit score and probably internal rankings that, especially with Amex, I know that they're using a internal score. We've had insiders commenting on videos extensively about some of these big banks. You got to assume that even if they're not publishing it, that they are using some sort of internal algorithm tracking mechanism, right? They're tracking how many times that you're hitting the button inside to see how much credit is available on charge cards. They're probably tracking quite a bit on us inside of Amex because that is a huge ecosystem, right? Big brand. So my first thought would be maybe that you've hit for now your max risk exposure that they're willing to extend to you. Probably not. Maybe some other factors going on there, but the first things you should look at is your utilization and what that looks like. If utilization is high, maybe they're starting to factor that into credit limit increases. I don't know. How many times have you been hitting the buttons inside for what's the one? See how much money you currently have available, even on the credit cards. I just can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Maybe you're hitting the buttons too many times. I don't know, right? So I would say start with the easy stuff because some of that's speculation. Start with the easy stuff. What's your utilization sitting at, right? And then start to get into more of maybe speculation. How many cards do you've got? How old is the account? Well, it's 61 days. Is that your first card with them though, or is that the second card, right? I'd start to look at that. Okay, last stream we lightly talked on PSECU, credit union. And yes, that is one of those ones that it was being talked about last year and it was kind of low key. And then it went viral and then it went viral again. And then literally everyone was just copying what it looks like. Everyone was just copying each other's videos. And when you get 100,000 views across the YouTube ecosystem, assume that that's 1 million plus people that are doing it, hearing about it, right? And possibly acting on it because everyone's going to watch the video and go and tell one of their friends, at least one person, right? So if everyone watched that video and told their friend, now we're talking about in the millions of people who have exposure to this concept, exposure to this hustle. So banks do that on purpose. Credit unions do that on purpose, especially when they're looking to increase membership base. Now, who knows if this is temporary or permanent? I would probably argue that it's temporary because they've been doing this for a long time. And so just like FNBO and some of these other institutions, these things go in waves, right? The Truist bank hustle still exists. Now, it might go through a period of time where you can't get it or it's denying everybody or something like that is happening. I have no clue why because I can't time that. But I can assure you that things like that will continue to be around. Like the Truist, which used to be BB&T, hustle's been around since 2018 that I could find out. And with PSECU, it's been happening since 2019. So I just argue that even though they might be tightening up now, it'll probably loosen up. Just chill, wait to see the response, and don't try and like, pile in on top and get your application in, because it's probably not going to work. Right now, like the dead giveaway, an indicator to look for there is they start slowing down on processing applications and memberships. So it's either one. So they'll start to slow down on processing memberships. They'll start to slow down on processing applications. Maybe the underwriters will start reaching out. They'll start asking for proof of income, POI, stuff like that. That's the writing on the wall. That's when you're like, okay, this thing is toast. So then just chill. And there's already plenty of people in the community who went out and got huge amounts, especially for, some of these people. This is life-changing money on these cards, like 30K limits on the founder's card. So yeah, there were some people who definitely took advantage of that. And I wanted to give the people in the community like a month or so before I even talked about it, which is why I didn't say shit on the channel. I didn't make a video because I don't really care about, going viral in a video versus trying to help real people in our community. So that's why I just kind of like zip the lips, shut up about it, let them go out and do their thing for like a month. And we just talked about it last week after it had already been like blown up. But that's my point. And we're going to do that from now on. Is like when especially if we discover something exclusively in the community, or we kind of find something that's low key, which there's a few things that are low key right now that we're not talking about, and we probably won't for a long time, because I want to give real people the chance to get in there and get involved. Right. So anyway, first card. Yeah. Wait. So you were denied a credit limit increase. So you have to wait, I think 6 months now. Let's pull that up. American Express Definitive Guide. Here we go. We're going to put these pages to work. Just got a 10K Apple Card. Congratulations. I got an Apple Card too, and I don't really use it at all. I don't really know why I got it. I don't really shop that much at Apple. It was kind of just a card that I wanted to get approved for and thin out utilization, and it worked. Okay. 61.6 3X. And I don't even know if this is still true. Are the 3X your limit still happening with credit limit increases on Amex? I think it's kind of sporadic, but okay. So this is the page that we want. This is a good breakdown. Boss Bogan is a guy who's constantly commenting in our YouTube, and he is an insider. And you can tell from two different things. Is one, he's saying that he's an insider, but two, like his depth of knowledge is very, very good. Okay, so this is what you're looking for. You're looking for these pre-approved messages. So there's a few things that you could do right now. Your first card, you're denied. Open a high yield savings account, right? And just park, I don't know, $250, $500 in there, right? Get some more data points with them. You're looking for pre-approvals, and you'll get them now. So it might not be 6 months. It's just going to depend. If you go out and do more transactional history with them, I can tell you right now that it will not be 6 months. You'll get an email though. You'll get a dedicated email, or you'll get a dedicated pop-up inside of when you log in, and you'll get a dedicated pop-up for two different things: a card or a personal loan. That's how I got the pop-up for the personal loan that I accidentally took. Was that it was just a pop-up, and I hadn't seen that before, so I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I clicked through twice, and you're approved. So anyway, yeah, you're looking for you're approved. Now, what you're looking to not see, and we just had somebody ask this in the community, is applying to expand your membership is easy with us. If you're seeing that message, it means chill. It means wait. It means no. Cool. What else? Anyone else want to get a shout out for new credit card, new credit limit you just got? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'll shout you out. Congratulations. It's a fun game when you start to figure out the rules to it. Just like the legal system, there's this whole set of rules that exist, right? And once you start to figure those out, it becomes a game of the winner in a lot of court cases is not guilty or innocent, right? It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with who's got the most information. So then it turns into it's in your best interest to educate yourself to a high enough degree so that you're constantly the one that is winning in the room, correct? That's what I want for you. I want you guys to be the few in the room that are winning. And so when it comes to credit stuff, it's like the only reason why we don't like it and the only reason why we think it's bad is because we have negative experiences with it. This is true for anything. Like, what was your favorite subject in school? I can ask you right now and you'd tell me. What's your favorite subject in school? For me, it was science. What's you guys? Math, whatever. Now, you can also tell me your least favorite subject, and that's the one that you hated. And still to this day, I guarantee you probably hate stuff in and around that subject. Like if it was math, you probably hate doing your taxes. Then again, I think everyone hates doing their taxes, but you get my point. It's not like I could ask you to sit down and bust out a spreadsheet about the last 30 days of your living and you would be happy about doing that. So these things, that's why we tend to, we tend to associate that with bad experiences because there's just a lack of education. So, okay, if we just improve or increase the level of education, then that means we'll have more positive association, positive experiences with that thing. Okay, now we can get back to work. Because credit, all this stuff is simply a tool, yes? Cool. All right. There we go. We got a bunch more people jumping in the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, approved for 11.6 at 10.8. Oh, I read this. I just read this in a Discord. Congratulations, Jared. That is amazing. See, I mean, here's a perfect example. He's got charge-offs. He's got lates. You know, that BK means nothing nowadays, especially. Okay, thanks for the Synchrony video. Yep, Synchrony Bank. They've got a MasterCard. Yeah, that one. When did we do that? Last year, I think. Math. Yeah, math. I know, dude. Mine was math. Loved science. Hated math. It was the hardest thing to start like sitting down and spreadsheeting stuff and figuring out the formulas and adding up columns and just that basic shit. I can still remember the pain that caused figuring that out all those years ago. Now I love it. Absolutely love doing it. But it's just because I have positive associations with it, right? So now just imagine this. How tragic is this, right? You have somebody that cash is king. They pass that on to their family members. Oh, credit's bad. It's garbage. It's a scam. Like, you're right. It is garbage. The whole system itself is essentially a Ponzi, but it doesn't mean you can't use it or you shouldn't use it. If this tool will help you improve your life or put you into a situation to where you can, again, win, why wouldn't you do it? As long as it morally, ethically aligns with your values. And I don't think like credit cards and stuff like that, I don't think we're like crossing over moral and ethical boundary lines. I don't know, maybe some of the banks and what they do with the money, maybe we could get into that. But I'm just saying in general, like if this tool can help you, it's up to you to do it, but you probably should, right? Okay. Yes. And they, this one here pulled Experian. All right, where was that one? Is FNBO dead? Kind of. They are consolidating people's cards. We did this in a video. I think it's 4 or 5 videos back. If somebody wants to link it in the comments, please, or in the chat. We talk about FNBO and Truist and updates to that. If you just go back to the channel, click on videos, you'll see it there. But essentially, they're consolidating people's cards because people got 3 to 5 cards. They also got multiple business cards, no POI, no nothing. They're going back in and consolidating a lot of that. Applications are under review. Limits aren't what they were. And I don't even know. Can somebody confirm, is the pre-qual still open? I haven't looked at that in a while. So if somebody could confirm if the pre-qual is still open. Okay, what are my thoughts on business Kabbage? So Kabbage is now under the umbrella or under the stack of American Express. Kabbage I thought was good. I just think that their requirements, from what I remember, are like kind of tough. So they're going to ask for quite a bit of information about your business before they're going to give you, the goods. Okay, I did FNBO for a friend, and he was a pre-qualified, but it went into 2 to 4 week review. Interesting. Okay, after I got approved for Amex Gold 1 month ago, I was pre-approved for a loan with them for $3,500. That is cool. And again, maybe that's like a new thing, and it'll just be like a short-term thing that they're starting to do. But yeah, I think it was the same thing for me. Like I just logged in one day and there's a pop-up for $10K loan. So I think that's the same thing. And I really, with some of this stuff, man, is as much as I don't like to admit it, is I'm not like getting new credit right now is not a focus of mine. So I'm just kind of chilling, just in the garden. So I'm not paying as close attention to like my own stuff as I normally would. I'm just logging in a couple times a week, right? Okay, just got an FNBO pre-approval offer in the mail. I only did a pre-qual with them 3 months ago. Interesting. So what I'm interested to see is the pre-qual that you get in the mail stronger than what you get on the website pre-qualification tool? Because you got a pre-approval in the mail, right? Pre-approval or pre-qualification? I don't know. Sometimes you got to understand, sometimes a bank, it's literally the same thing. And I don't like that. I want a pre-qualification to be different than a pre-approval. I want a pre-approval to be like 99% you're going to get it unless something stupid happens. Or like at that point, they've already pulled a softball. So like what would change? It should be nothing unless I have the bureau locked. It should be nothing really changes that and I get that card. That's what I don't like about some of these institutions is they kind of like blend the two and merge them. So it's like we're just guessing. Whereas, okay, with Amex, if you are pre-approved, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. Like 99%, you're going to get it. Same thing with like Chase. Same thing with a big bank, a big institution. You're going to get it. Anyways, to wrap up on American Express, we get into jail, blacklisting. You can get out of jail, can't get out of blacklisting. It's very, very hard to do. Personal credit cards. What else do I have on here? Been a while since I looked at this page. We got a business page as well. I don't think it's published yet because we're going to do a whole rollout of the business section of the website, which there's going to be tons of goodies on that. Once we're all done building out those pages and whatnot, we've got all the bank resources and stuff and all the bureaus for the business. We've covered those in videos. There's a whole playlist for business credit on the channel. Quite good, but I'm biased. I made it, so. All right, what else we got? Gardening with the normal rakes and shovels. Rakes in my garden. Because we're trying to grow some strong plants in my garden. So yeah, I mean, gardening is like a few different things. Most people just think it's like, okay, chill, let off the gas. We're not going to do any more app sprees. But I also take it a step further. I think it's also time to set up high interest yield savings accounts. It's time to build more data points within these institutions that I want to work with. And then also too, it's time to open up new checking accounts with credit unions that require approval, and I got to get a membership to join. It's going to be a pull on my check systems, and that's going to take time to grow that relationship. So I'm just kind of like get my foot in the door there. Let's just slide in there, get that start to build up, right? Get some money into the savings account, money into the checking account, transactional history starts, and then, really start to build that up. So I do a few things at once. I don't know if that's still true. That video that we did was last year, I think. October, November. What time is it? Okay. All right. Got like maybe 10 more minutes. And I gotta go. Okay, reading the letter now says you've been pre-selected for the special offer. I have no clue, man. See, now what does that mean? Like pre-selected, and then are you getting pre-qualified on the site on FNBO still as well? If they're both saying yes, then that would mean that they're using the same formula for both. That would be interesting. I don't know if that gives us any additional information. I just think that'd be interesting. And then usually on the letters that you get, they've got like a code. Go enter this code. Does it have that on it? Which, if it does, then I'd say there's more validity to that, but I've been wrong in the past. Okay, Elton, thank you. Huge fan of your page. Love the work you do. How you get data point pages. Am I asking that correctly? Thank you. How do I get to data point pages? Oh, well, let me show you on the site. There's many places, but we've got like guides. So up here, we've got guides. We've got one on Navy Fed, Disco, Capital One, and American Express. Working on quite a few others. And then here's another great place. We've actually pulled together quite a bit, like tens of thousands of records of data points, and we're just like integrating that into the back end. So you're going to be able to pull that up and filter and search, chart all that out. That's going to be exciting. Okay. Yeah. And then here's like master lists with like data points right here. And we've got a whole data point channel on the Disco where people just go and post like the same thing, essentially. What was your score? What limit did you get? What bureau did they pull? What was locked? What was unlocked? And any additional information people want to give. So this is just constantly being updated. Yeah, we're just constantly going in here. I'm adding more data points as we get them, like probably twice a month. I'll go in here and update this based on data points from the community. I'll add those in just anonymously as like score and limit. And then we've got the same thing for store credit cards. So this will give you a big leg up on trying to figure out what is what. But understand on that last page, you saw it tells you what bureau they pull to. Now this does change with some stuff, like Amex has some geolocation stuff happening. If you're brand new to Amex, they're going to pull TransUnion and Experian on your very first card, which that's new. But for the most part, down the middle, what bureau they pull is huge and very, very important. So I can structure like, okay, I can go and get 3 cards on this one. How many on this one, right? This one's maxed out. This one's got a 720. This one's got a 680. Okay, let's go with this one, right? Yeah, so there's really 2 big players is Synchrony and Comenity. There's other store branded cards, but yeah. Comenity pulls Experian, Synchrony pulls TransUnion, but I'm hearing that they're starting to pull multiple throughout the quarter 4 of 2021. People were massively reporting that they were pulling multiple bureaus like Experian for a Synchrony store card is like, oh, that's rough, dude. So the only card I think I would play around with personally, if I were to bother with Synchrony, is the Amazon card because 5% cash back is great. The only issue is that like churning and grinding out on that card, like I go and max out the card, pay it down. When is my card ready to be used again? Like that whole process of like going and doing that to squeeze maximum 5% out is very, very difficult. Like it can take them upwards of a week to like fix everything and have your balance showing properly. It's very weird. And then the more you start to do it, I don't know if you guys have had this experience or it's just me. The more I start to try and like grind out on that card, max it out, pay it off, max it out, pay it off, max it out, pay it off. The more I start to do that, it like freaks out, can't compute. And then, yeah, the last time I did it, it took like 2 weeks for it to like clean itself up and give me the proper information. So I don't know if I'm going to continue to do that, which is kind of a bummer. Okay, pre-selected letter has access code and reservation number. I was pre-qualified for the secured card only months ago. Expires end of June. I don't know. Jump into the Discord. Let's talk about this more. Give us more data points. And I'm sure plenty from the community will be able to help and jump in on that question. That is a great question to bring up because there's a lot of people in the community that have gotten FNBOs. And so they would be better to ask that versus me because the data is fresh for them. It's not really for me. All right, cool. Any more questions? Did I miss anything? Oh, can you pull with one inquiry? I don't know. Do they allow double dip products on one inquiry? I think they did at one point. I don't know if they still do because that video is from, I think, like October of last year. Let's see. What else do I got? Hey, congratulations. Just got 7K. Oh, so that was you. And then you're like, hey, where'd I go apply? And you went and applied and you got 7K through Synchrony's MasterCard at 2%. Nice. Nicely done. Congratulations. That's awesome. If nothing else, helps thin out utilization, and I love that. What did they pull? Did they pull just TransUnion, or I'd be interested to hear that. Yeah, cool. Okay, going back to it. Yep, check to make sure when it's going to fall off. What did he say here? Where can I get my wife's hard pull on treat as a paid collection medical and BK removed? We'll keep the channel posted on status and the process. Yes. I want to talk more about kind of like this new, I see it as like a kind of new popular edge that people are using to get stuff removed. It requires a lot of commitment on your part and a lot of education and a lot of studying. But the benefit is that you're learning the actual law around consumer finance and the protection mechanisms that are put into place. And I think that's a good thing. But also, too, you're putting yourself into position to actually win in a legal court case against these entities and institutions who are these collection companies, rather, who are trying to, harass you and collect on this bogus debt, right? So, anyways, we'll cover that. I don't know when. Maybe next live stream. We'll cover that. Thank you for the game. Thank you. Just like these views do so much. Just click the like button. Like right now, if everyone were to just click the like button, thank you up front. The algorithms are so stupid on YouTube. So it's like comments, likes, sharing it. The more people that are viewing it, then it gets up into more people suggested and blah, blah, blah. You know the game. We all should know the game by now. Join the Discord. Cool. Yep. Jump in there, please. And there's like 10 people who will jump in and help you right now. Like the OG base that we've got in the Discord is absolutely incredible. Love it. Love you guys. Goldman Sachs or Synchrony? What now? Synchrony is what we've been talking about. Goldman Sachs does personal loans. I talked about that in the very beginning of the stream. And they will usually take 1% off if you write, as you're getting approved for the personal loan, right then and there, allocate more than 50 or 70% of the loan. You have to allocate right then and there to pay off credit and debt. And if you do that, then you'll get 1% savings on the interest rate. Can I do what now? Can you have multiple cards for separate businesses with Truist? Yes. Yes, you can. Citizens, I have no clue. All right. Any last minute questions for me? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up there. 50 minutes. Hell yeah. We got it done. Thank you for joining me. This is fun as always. I like hanging out with you guys. It's just another way for us to hang out together. We talked about side hustles. We talked about all kinds of stuff today. So share this out with your friends. Like it, all that fun stuff. Subscribe. Turn on the bell. All right, that's it. We'll probably start doing this semi-weekly, maybe bi-weekly, a couple times a month. Look for the next one, and I will be sharing it in the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't already. It's free. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Helps out. Share it. You know all the fun stuff to do, and be on the lookout for the next one. All right. See you, my friends.